Fire escape engineers inspector summary video. Here we are in Passaic. We have a fire escape system here, one of three. This fire escape system is in very bad condition, very poor condition. Structurally, the fire escape has not been maintained in at least 25 years, has not seen a paint job in at least 25 years, has corrosion and rust in every connection. This fire escape is going to need a full refurb, and with that there is no need for a load test once it gets fully refurbished. So you got 100% of all the connections need to be redone. The cement, you're probably looking at 25 to 50% of the cement connections need to be addressed on this fire escape here. We definitely got very little paint left on the structure, but it is older than 78, so there is definitely lead on the fire escape, and we have some cement issues also. We're also going to talk about this cable, these new cable, weight box, this weight tube, so let's talk about that. So the preload test examination has determined that this doesn't pass the confidence test, so we cannot proceed immediately to a load test on this. Fire escape has too many issues on this. So I'll go one by one, and a lot of times we spot repair these fire escapes and then proceed to a load test. This is not a candidate for a spot repair. This needs full refurb. They've just let it go too far, there's just too much to be done here, so this needs to just be fully rebolted. So I'll go in detail what needs to be done here. Okay, so new cable, and these pinwheels, these are cast iron pinwheels. These are already 75 years old. They're brittle, so you can't use this. So this is going to go out. The cable here is probably a 3/8 cable. You're not going to need that. The cable here is probably going to be 3/16 to a 1/4 inch only required for this amount of weight. And I want a new pinwheel here. Not a pinwheel, it's basically a new pulley, but it has a housing over it to keep the water out of it, and that's going to be more than sufficient. This is tied back into the building, so you got to do the cement work on there, and you got to change that pin there, which is a rivet. So bolts and rivets need to be swapped out. You swap out that bolt, there's no load test, so I need these bolts swapped out, this rivet swapped out. A lot of these frames, 2x2 frames all around, they're gone. So every corner I need it cleaned, rebolted, and then resealed. Okay, these flats that are your platform flats, you got to change the bolts there and change the bolts there on every single one of these that go from the nose back to the building. Every single one. The flats that run in this direction, they just need to be verified that they're not loose, and wherever they're loose, drill it and pop it in. Because this fire escape has lead paint. It's older than 1978. It has lead. To scrape and paint it, you must be an EPA renovator, have a license to touch lead paint. No welding on this job at all rebolting. And on this fire escape, when it comes to the actual repair activity, no welding, so it has to be rebolted. So any welding company or ironwork company that shows up with a welding machine, it will not pass the certification or the load test. So it has to be rebolted. It's already bolted anyway, so it's just cut the bolt, change the bolt, clean the rust, silicone shut every connection with 50-year silicone. That's going to happen on all this. So new weight box there, new cable, new pinwheel, and address the cement into the building. Going back this way, again, same issue. New bolts, tie in the cement well, change those bolts, change the bolts there. See that the bolt is even gone. See these frames, the bolts, there's no bolts left. Further down, even the ladder bolts are gone towards the ladder. Now I'm going to go down this entire treads. All of them need to have new bolts. Take out every tread one at a time, clean it, prime it. When you put the tread back with new bolts, it's silicone shutter from above, and hopefully while you have it out, you're scraping and painting the tread. Going down backwards here. There's a lot of rivets on these fire escapes, so this fire escape is older than 75 years old. Change that bolt, that rivet, put a new bolt, or put a gusset in here that picks up this and picks up this. Again, if you don't do that, I have to load test this fire escape. Change that, any rusted connection, you got to clean it and then rebolt it. Change it and rebolt it. You got all these treads here full of rust, huge amount of rust in all these treads. Every single one of them has rust. Change it. Okay, change these treads and then rebolt. See the cement work? We need some cement work there, some cement work there. So you just got to go see which one's needed. Again, I estimate 25 to 50% of the cement needs to be rebuilt so that we can not avoid the load test. Okay, going down, heavy corrosion and heavy paint peeling. Again, all this has lead Okay, so you gotta have an EPA renovator's license to touch this. A lot of people going underneath this thing, so the work that needs to be done carefully. Any seating where the stringer sits on top, we need to put a clip here so that there's additional strength here and up there with the stringers to make sure that the staircase is being properly secured from below and from up above. Look at all the bolts. Look at this ladder here. It's already out of position over there in that corner. Okay, so that means anybody going down this ladder, this thing gives it any weight, this ladder is going to fall to the ground. There's no bolt on the other side, so this is a life safety issue that you have here with the ladder system. So right now, anybody not knowing what they're doing, this ladder system could give way and that whole thing would just fall backwards. So there's a life safety concern here. We're missing bolts here on the place, and they also greased this entire pole here. That's really what it didn't need to be done. What you have is there's enough play on that piece there so that this thing slides correctly. It's not really the grease that makes it slide, it's the actual play on the steel. So what happens is sometimes when you're climbing through here and you touch that, which I did, I got a lot of grease all over my hands. I had to, basically clean myself. So that's going to make a lot of people not hold on to that and not touch that. And what happens is they may let go. So you got to clean that so it can't have any grease on it. Going down here, you see all the connections are in pretty bad. They're pretty bad, the connections here. Okay, so as you can see, all the bolts, front and rear, need to be rebolted. Again, no ACs in the window. This is one of these ACs have to be inside ACs that can exhaust out, or take this AC, put it over there, but you can't have ACs in the window that go to a fire escape. Notice the bolt in the back, notice no bolt in the front. So all 100% of these bolts need to be changed out to avoid a load test, and there is no spot repair here because there's so many bad bolts here. So this is not a candidate for a load test. This is a candidate for a full refurb because there's too many connection problems. Too many, and they would have to go through this with a fine-tooth comb after you scrape it to identify if there's anything that could be salvaged. But this fire escape, which is 75 years old or greater, just hasn't seen any maintenance. There's no evidence of any maintenance at all on this fire escape, showing that at some point in time somebody did something to this thing. Not even painted. It's 25 years of non-painting also. So this is a candidate for a full refurb to avoid the load test. Every single connection here. Any questions? Fire escape engineers, inspect the summary video. 866-649-0333. 866-649-0333.